Time for the word on Wall Street. Top investors watching your money. And joining me right now is Bull Tech Capital Markets Chief Strategist Kathryn Rooney Vera. Kathryn, let's talk about this inversion. Wall Streeters are talking about the 2-year Treasury yield hitting the highest level since 2019. The recession fears are gripping investors as San Francisco Federal Reserve President Mary Daly said that the case for a half-point rate hike is now growing for the month of May. Daly said this, quote, "The case for 50, barring any negative surprise between now and the next meeting, has grown. I'm more confident that taking these early adjustments would be appropriate." And Kathryn, you know, we've talked about in the past that Citigroup economist is telling its clients that we should expect a 50 basis point hike in the month of May, June, July, and September. Your thoughts on whether or not we'll see that and what the impact could be?
50 basis points is inevitable, as is recession. So the 2s, 10s is inverted. The 2s, 30s, which is the longer measure of the broader economy, which we macroeconomists tend to look at in terms of the broad health of the market, the 2s, 30s, is also moving towards inversion. You know, the policymakers, the federal government and the Federal Reserve have made recession inevitable, and so does the economic cycle. So we're already in an economic deceleration, and the Fed is hiking into it. You know, consumer confidence, if you look at an economy that's almost 70% based on consumption, Maria, consumer confidence is collapsing. And it's collapsing because inflation is eating into people's earnings. So high oil prices are only exacerbating an already difficult environment for the U.S. consumer. Before Russia, inflation was at 7.5%. And this is because the federal government has overspent, injecting, now we have a 12% fiscal deficit to GDP, injecting way too much stimuli, while the Federal Reserve, Maria, remember, just 1 month ago was still buying assets. So the Fed knows it's woefully behind the curve. Multiple 50 basis point hikes are in the offing. And investors need to position in a time of still high market optimism when defensive, recessionary, outperforming sectors are still cheap to buy them.
Yeah. It's a great point that they are so behind the curve, and now they've got to pick up the pace in terms of rate hikes, Kathryn. All right, we will leave it there. Great to see you all. Kathryn Rooney Vera.